Hello, this is Leslie Walker Hirsch for Glass Alliance, New Mexico, and today I am absolutely thrilled to be speaking with Judy Tuwaletstiwa. Judy is a glass artist and multimedia artist, extraordinaire in every way. She has the true soul of an artist and is the most spiritually connected person I have ever encountered. I'm happy to say that Judy has a one-woman museum and gallery show at the Tank Garage at the CCA, and it's a must-see if you haven't been there yet. We're also thrilled that Judy is a member of Glass Alliance, New Mexico. Wonderful to have such an esteemed person as part of our little organization. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Leslie. Thank you so much for all your kind words. And I'm pleased to be a member of the Glass Alliance of New Mexico.
We're thrilled to have you supporting glass art, not only in New Mexico, but all over the world.
It's great. I'm so lucky to have been an artist in residence with Bullseye, to have met so many different glass artists at Corning and everywhere. It's just a rich world of glass.
So, this is an odd question to ask you, but so many people refer to you as Judy T because the vowels and consonants in your name is such an unusual one. So how did you come by that? And does it have a special meaning or significance for you?
Yes. It makes me laugh. People do call me Judy T. The only place that I've been where people know how to pronounce my name right off the bat is France, and that's because the vowel system of Hopi and of French happens to be the same. It's A-E-I-O-U. Otherwise, people, it's like music, listening to people try to pronounce my name. But I was born with the name Averbach, which means over the brook. Auerbach, Averbach. It's an Ashkenazi Jewish name. My grandparents were from Poland and Russia. And my first marriage was with Michael Sahigian, and he was Armenian. And my children, except for my daughter who's married, bear the name Sohigian, which means songbird. Then, when I met Philip, sorry, there's a mosquito here.
It was a fly.
It was a fly, thank you. When I met Philip, Philip's name was Philip Johnson, and he never felt comfortable with that name. His grandfather on his father's side was Tuwaletstiwa. And when Tuwaletstiwa was taken to boarding school, they changed his name to Johnson. And when Philip and I were thinking about getting married, he said, I want to take back the name that was taken from my grandfather. And would you like to have it too? Would you like us to have the same last name? And I said, yes. And so we became Judy and Philip Tuwaletstiwa when we married in 1993.
So is he from the Hopi tribe?
Well, Philip's father was Hopi Indian, and Philip's mother was Appalachian. So we refer to him as a Res Billy. And yes, he is a member of the Hopi tribe in the village of Arrivie. That's the oldest continually settled village in America. And we lived at Hopi for 12 years. And Philip did wonderful work there, helping to map the reservation and to help protect the boundaries of the reservation. Many wonderful things that he did. But the name itself, this fly is going to be buzzing around through the whole interview. The name itself means the wind making ripples in the sand. So it's actually a perfect name for someone who now works with silica.
Amazing. It was kismet.
Yes.
So, Judy, in your book, that I've now spent several evenings with, you have described and shown the result of your experiments with powdered glass and glass frit in your residence at Bullseye Glass, and to see the new and subtle colors that you created and photographed for your book. Has that changed your perception of glass and glass art?
Well, glass changed my perception of color, actually. Before Lonnie and Dan asked me to be artist in residence at the Bullseye Resource Center in 2012, I had been working with I had been painting only with the colors black, white, and red for 25 years almost. And they had introduced me, those colors, that limited palette had allowed me to explore texture in a very unique way. When I started working with kiln-fired glass, I became enamored of the possibilities of color and subtleties of color. I mean, it's trillions and trillions of color possibilities. As much color as there is sand. It's remarkable. And I spent the whole year and a half doing nothing but doing color mixes and samples, which Lonnie and Dan now have at Bullseye, and they're going to build a wall to show them all. There were 1,600 by the time I was done. And part of why I gave those to Bullseye was I felt people would come to Bullseye and ask them to make a color for them. Well, with 200 powders, one can make almost every color in the world. And so color has returned to my work after 25 years of working only with the colors of black, red, and white.
So do you think that now you will be renewing your interest in working in glass as a medium of artistic expression and spiritual expression?
Yes, very much so. Because, Leslie, glass holds time. You know, the colors are heavenly and powerful. They're like the sky itself and the movements of the sky, especially when you fire low, the way that I prefer to fire. But glass seems to synthesize everything I've thought about for the last 50 years as an artist. Biological time, evolutionary time, geological time. It is so rich to work with glass and with silica. I hope eventually to start bringing in fiber and other materials, but I don't see how yet. It has to come. I can't force it on it.
That's the soul of the artist, has to make something where there was nothing.
Part of it, you said it, coming into the studio each morning, I have no idea what will exist in here by evening. And that's part of the thrill of, you're right, of being an artist, is walking into the studio with an idea perhaps, and then seeing that idea change over the next 8 hours or 9 hours and become something that I could never have imagined.
So, Judy, I asked you to pick one of the works from your museum show to either show or talk about. So what did you pick? I'm dying to hear it.
I'd be curious which one you would pick.
Well, do you want me to tell you?
Yes.
Well, I happen to have fallen in love with the bird
with the crow piece?
The crow piece that you have taken apart and reassembled in its most gorgeous form and elegant form.
Thank you, Leslie. I was going between the crow and the continuing painting, and I think that I'll talk about the crow because I found a dead bird lying along Highway 41 as I was driving from Hopi over to Santa Fe for a friend's birthday. And I took the dead crow back with me to Hopi. I had longed for a crow, and there it was. I had waited. And during this show, I discovered, I wasn't even aware of it, Leslie, that when that breakthrough came with Van Gogh's Wheat Field with Crows, it was almost like this was a response to the experience I had of the power of that painting. So I took this crow and I brought it to Hopi, and I first photographed it in its splendor. Even dead, it was had so much power. And then I plucked it, and then I cooked it, in boiling water. And my husband came home from his office up at the tribe and said, "Honey, something's wrong with that chicken you're making for lunch." And I said, "No, dear, it's the crow that I found." So then I put its bones out. I took all the flesh off and put its bones out in the sun to bleach, kept its organs separate. And I wanted to use all its feathers and all its bones and organs to do a piece. And I fumbled around for the shape of it all, and eventually landed on the idea of something very simple, a 12 by 12 inch piece of rag paper with a very lightly drawn half-inch grid with graphite. And I used that. I would poke a hole in the paper and put the feathers through. And I did this for 12 of the pieces. And that was over 12 days, one a day, one each day. And this was at Hopi in my studio. And then with the bones, I made a 1-inch grid. And each grid is marked by a quill, a very small piece of quill. And then I used the bones to create the next 13 pieces. And what I hoped to do was honor the spirit of that crow, that beautiful creature. And I think it does do that. The final piece is the heart and the tongue. And I was concerned about using the heart, but there's one of the arteries creates the most lyrical line, almost like song. And crows, their songs aren't the most beautiful of birds in terms of their voices, but it was like this lyrical moment. And I had to connect the tongue and the heart. Because there's something about crows, they speak a kind of truth. It's so direct what they say.
You know, when you hear an artist talk about their own work, you have insights that you never thought you yourself would have, and you can enjoy the piece even more.
Thank you. But I want to quickly ask you, what is it about the crow that touched you so deeply?
I think it was the fact that every part of the crow was used, and that every part that a person or an animal has is an integral part of the universe. I'm getting spiritual with you, Judy. You have an influence upon me. And I thought that was so amazing to be able to see a dead crow at the side of the road and have a vision of its glory.
Thank you. Because what you've expressed is really what's so important to me in work, is that it has true integrity, that every part matters, and that it holds together with true integrity.
And enjoyed meeting you there quite serendipitously, but happily so. And if our viewers or listeners from Glass Alliance newsletter subscribers, if they want to go to see the show, how long will it be running? And are you ever going to show up there by accident on purpose?
Well, first, it was great running into you and Bennett, and we had a wonderful conversation. It was so wonderful learning more about both of you. Secondly, September 17th, I'm going to do a walkthrough, and people can sign up for that. And
so you hear that, members? Go on September 17th again.
And it's on the 11th. I'm sorry, it's not September 17th. I'm wrong. I don't know what my brain was doing. August 17th.
August 17th, so coming right up.
It's coming right up. And then the show itself runs until September 15th. And I believe on the 14th in the morning, we'll also do a walkthrough at 11 o'clock.
So September 14th, 11 o'clock is a date and time to remember.
Yes, and then also August 17th, if somebody does want to do a walkthrough. Those are the two main dates for walkthroughs. August 30th, there'll be a panel discussion about what is art, and it will be Ivy Ross, who's head of design at hardware design at Google, and David Chicky of Radius Books, and Laura Carpenter, and both David and Laura were on my team to help create this beautiful show.
And I know
They help curate and place and discuss.
And I know that it represented your vision and their interpretation of your vision as well. And so it does beautifully.
Thank you. It's so great to work with a wonderful team, both at CCA and Trey Jordan. Trey designed the tables and all the stands that are there. And it's magical to work with such fine artists.
So, Judy, if somebody wanted to know more about your work, I know we're going to have a picture of you and your work in the newsletter that they can see while they listen to you. But where would they reach you if they don't get a chance to do that?
I have a website, judytuwaletstiwa.com, and then I have books that are out. They're for sale at CCA. My Mapping Water is out of print, but the book Glass is for sale there.
Wonderful. It's wonderful that you could take time from your wonderful work and your busy, busy life to talk to me and to us. And it's wonderful to see you, whether it's electronically or in person.
It's a pleasure. It's really a pleasure, Leslie.
Wonderful. I'll see you again soon, Judy.
I look forward to it. Tell Bennett hi.
I will do that. So long.